Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're been here before, whatever the spiel is, girl. So I am here to talk about one of my favorite hood classic movies. As you can see, I'm talking about Menace to Society. I used to watch this movie so much as a kid, and I just wanted to sit back and watch it again with my adult eyes to see if I still felt the same, if this will still be one of my favorite movies. So I have my notes here on my handy dandy laptop. I have quite a few notes, so stick around and let's see if we agree on certain things. So first off, the movie starts with Old Dog and Kane at the store, and they just chopping it up. As you can see here, they're just chopping it up, and they are buying like alcohol 40s and stuff. And so convenience store worker is like eyeing them, stalking them to see if they stealing stuff. Now that instance really irritated me because okay, first of all, we know these guys are menaces to society. They're thugs, but at the same time, like, they're customers. Like, these people are giving you their money. Like, why are you treating them in that way? You know what I'm saying? It just really irritates my soul. And this happened to me the other day at Walmart. We had like a couple of items and I was doing self-checkout, and two employees just happened to walk by me. And it's like, as a black person, you can kind of feel when you're being stalked. Like, you just know it. So I typically, I know this is kind of petty and lame at the same time. Like, you really thought you did something, girl. But I got through checking out my items and I paid for them. And I came in with like a basket. And in my mind, I was like, well, since y'all stalking me, I can take that basket back. Because usually I walk it back to the cart area. No. Since you want to stalk me, let me give you something to do. You can take my basket back. So I just left it there. But it's so annoying to get stalked in the store. Like, I also had another experience where I didn't have a car, so I would walk around with a big bag if I was going to the store or something. And I had went to Dollar General, and they had accused me of stealing. It was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed that I was like yelling and stuff. And I was like, y'all gonna check everybody's bag in here. And I stood there at the end of the line, and I made sure that worker checked everybody's purse. Every lady that had a purse, he had to check it. Because I was like, I'm not about to be the only one embarrassed in this motherfucker. Anyways. Another thing that this points out to me is that I think this movie was released in 1993, and I believe that's around the time let me look it up. That's around the time that young girl got killed at the convenience store by that Asian lady because she just wanted some orange juice, but she was racially profiled. Let me look her up. Let's see. I gotta say her name because it was a big deal. Latasha Harless was fatally shot on March 16th, 1991 in South Central Los Angeles convenience store by owners Soon Jadu over a dispute regarding a $1.79 bottle of orange juice. So yes, I think this scene is really important, and it probably speaks to that situation too. So rest in peace to Latasha Harless. Back to the movie. So he's like, girl, you getting on my nerves. Like, you getting on my nerves. So Brandon Tate gets so upset because after, like, and this is the owner's fault. This is the cashier's fault. He was like, I don't want any problems. I don't want any problems. And like throws him the change or whatever. And he goes, I feel sorry for your mom. What the fuck did he say that for? What did he say that for? Because that sets Old Dog off. He said, what you say about my mama? Which goes into don't be a menace to society while drinking your juice in the hood. Okay, let me try to stay focused. But he's like, what you say about my mama? And ends up assassinating the guy. The lady that was stalking them is like screaming at the top of her lungs, which, I mean, she has every right to. She just seen somebody get murdered. And Old Dog's like, go get me the surveillance tape. Go get me the tape. And so they're in the back. She's screaming. And then we eventually hear Old Dog blast this lady into deletion. And they run out, and Kane's like, anything could happen in the hood. We just was trying to get some 40s, and I end up an accessory to burglary and murder or something, he said. So that's the beginning of the movie. Crazy, right? Very, very crazy beginning. Okay, so then we are introduced to Kane's parents. This is the party scene, the first party scene where we are introduced to Kane's dad and his mom. His dad is a very violent, notorious drug dealer, and his mom is an addict. And he explains how, like, his mom was so addicted to drugs that she would use the drugs faster than her dad could sell it. That's crazy. And he would beat her up because she was getting high off of his supply. So when I first started watching this movie, I was thinking about, like, you know, some of the guys that I went to school with who kind of like had a lifestyle like this, or, you know, were thugged out and stuff. I'm like, what causes them to, like, be in this type of lifestyle? And I'm like, oh, as I'm watching the movie and he's explaining his background, I'm like, oh, that explains it. There wasn't really any positive guidance or anything in their lives. So in this scene, there is little Kane. He sneaks outside and he's like, what y'all fools doing out here? This is the part that I wanted y'all to see. So he sneaks out and he's hanging with the thugs, right? And he's like, give me some beer. I want some beer. Like, what y'all drinking? And Pernell, which ends up being Kane's big homie, is like, try some of this, little man. Yeah, so he's hanging out with the older people unattended because, of course, his mom is an addict, but she does eventually come and get him. So Kane has a lot of trauma because his dad literally kills people in front of him. There's a scene where his dad was like, hey, mother, don't you owe me some money? And he was like, the dude was like, you can suck my boom, boom, boom. And Kane's daddy just shot him at the table while they was playing spades or dominoes, or I can't remember which one it was. But either way, he shoots him, and Kane's dad, which is played by Samuel L. Jackson, gets so mad. He looks over, he's like, don't you owe me some money, motherfucker? And dude's like, no, I don't, but here you go. I thought that scene was so funny. I mean, not the killing part, but you get what I'm saying. Violence is not funny. This movie is actually very disturbing when I watch it as an adult. But after Kane's dad kills the guy, Kane's dad's like, hey, like his voice is all muffled. And to me, I feel like this is the point where Kane, as a kid, this is the first time he sees his dad kills people, but he does explain that he's seen him do it more than once afterward. But this is the first time he's seen his dad kill anybody. So for him, when I vision him getting hearing his name morphed out, is because he's checking out of the reality as he knows it as a innocent kid. Because even though he was brought up in this horrible environment, all his dad's friends and his mom's friends were addicts or criminals. He never seen a life getting taken before. So now he's living in a different reality than what he's used to. So that's that. Okay. So then it cuts to Kane being at school, and we find out that he's in high school. So first of all, I have a lot of questions here. Going back to the scene where he was at the store with Old Dog, how was he able to buy liquor? How was he able to buy beer if he's still in high school? Is he a super senior? But later on in the movie, we find out that he's 18, so he's not a super senior. So it's like, was those convenience store owners just didn't give a damn and was just selling to whoever, didn't ID nobody or nothing? Maybe they assumed they were grown. I don't know, girl, but that left a lot of questions for me. Okay, so this is a scene where I'm like, I thought this was kind of weird, right? Because she's like, oh, Kane. And it's like he lived with them since his mom passed away over an overdose. But she's acting like she haven't seen him in ages. And I just thought that was weird. And she's calling upstairs. I don't know. I forgot his grandpa's name. But she's like, honey, come say hi to our grandson. And he's like, hey, Kane, I'm so proud of you. You're graduating high school. You're about to be a man. And it's like, I just thought that was weird because it's like, if you've been taking care of this boy since his mom passed, why are you acting like you never seen him before? But I just had a thought. Maybe grandma understands the life that he lives and just happy that he's still alive. That could be it too. Maybe that's why she's doing that. Like, hey, he's still alive. He's still here, because they know he's a troubled soul, right? Okay, so we're at graduation night, right? So this is one of my favorite scenes. I mean, this is some of my favorite scenes. Because, first off, fine as Cousin Harold. Fine as Cousin Harold, okay? I will say, as a child, I was boy crazy at a very young age, so I was probably just watching it because of Kane's character. What's his name? Taryn Turner, Lorenz Tate, and Cousin Harold. I don't know who Cousin Harold is, girl, but they was yoing. Okay? So anyways, I thought the scene was so crazy because as they're walking up to the party, there are literally people like squabbling up in the front yard. And I'm just like, is it really like this? Like, I mean, I'm gonna say I grew up in the hood, but I was inside the house. Okay, look at me. Do I look like a gangster to you? I was in the house, okay? I didn't play with none of the outside kids, none of that shit. Okay, so and when I went to parties in the hood, nobody was squabbling in the front yard. Maybe I was by the time, like, if I got drunk, I was probably the one squabbling. Let me mind my business. But anyway, okay, so I just thought it was weird. People, they pull up to the party and people is just fighting in the yard. Crazy. So they walk into the party and Kane is greeted by his friend. I don't know whose friend this is. He comes in every once in a while, but he's like, hey, prime time, what's up? Right? And Kane's like, what? He's like, I saw the tape. So then you can see that Kane is a little bit annoyed as fuck because how do you know about the convenience store surveillance tape? So then we come to find out Old Dog has been showing people like this. And let me just say, Old Dog, even though this was made in 1993, Old Dog gives me the type of dude that'll do anything for clout. I mean, he really don't give a fuck, but he will do anything for clout. Like, he's the type of person that will record himself, you know, with the guns and stuff, posting and all. You know, those type of people that be having all the money and stuff, be having money and be posting up with all these machine guns and shit. That's the type of dude Old Dog is to me. So, when Kane confronts Old Dog about the tape, he's like, boy, it ain't that big of a deal. I think it's funny. I think it's like, he thinks it's the greatest thing. Mind you, he murdered 2 people and robbed them on tape. And he's showing everybody. And he just thinks this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, are you stupid? It's just the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is not developed, girl. So, I just think Old Dogs is a complete psychopath for that. Complete psychopath. Because how could you think anything like that is funny like this? Not on your conscience. Anyways, he introduces all his friends and they're all like a black man trope. You got the violent thug, which is Old Dog. You got the old ass man hanging with school-aged boys. I forgot his name, but that's MC Innit. I think that's how you say his name. He's a rapper in real life, but he's playing the old nigga that like to be around young people. And I never understood that. Like, do that make you feel tough or something? Like a superior? Or what is that? Anyways, and then the other one is the athlete that's gonna make it out of hood. They got all the baby mamas. I forgot his name too. Damn. I haven't been keeping track of names. And then we got the Hotep, which is Sharif. He is a changed man since he has turned over a new religion or whatever the case may be. But these are his friends. That's his core group of friends. Okay, so this is the heartbreaking part. So they leave the party because everybody's hungry. They want to get something to eat. They go to the gas station and get gas before they go get something to eat. But Harold and Kane are in the car. And this is when they get jacked. They get carjacked. And Harold's like, man, damn, I knew something like this was gonna happen. But he's telling Kane, he's like, Kane, get out the car, get out the car. And you can see him kind of like getting his gun from up under the seat. And so I think the robbers notices that, and they blast him right in front of Kane. And it is such a bloody, bloody scene. And so then the people that had went to the group of friends that were at the gas station hear it. So they hurry up and drive to the street. And they see Cousin Harold twitching in the middle of the street, and Kane is on a bench bleeding out. So they don't give a fuck about Cousin Harold. They just trying to get Kane in the car so they can get him to the hospital. Old Dog even says something like, that nigga dead, leave him there, leave him there. It's like, y'all was just partying with him and y'all gonna leave his body in the street? Y'all gonna leave him to die by himself? So Sharif kind of has a heart, and he's like, I cannot leave this man in the street. So he gets out the car, and he was like, well, he got to fend for himself. Old Dog's like, he's got to fend for himself. And Sharif's like, I'm not leaving this man in the street to die by himself. So they eventually drive to the hospital, right? I find it funny that when they go to the hospital, the man's like, no, the lady's like, you have to fill out these paperwork. And he got two people, like, he's literally bleeding everywhere. Their shirts are bloody from him bleeding out. And she wants them, and the nurse wants them to fill out paperwork. Is it really this bad in the hood, y'all? I know this is a movie, but do people really live life like this? I'm concerned. I am concerned, honey. This is horrible conditions. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend, okay? Girl, this scene right here. I ain't never wanted to be a spoon so bad in my life. The way he was eating that Jell-O, I wish. I never wanted to be a cup of Jell-O or Jell-O so bad in my life. If I had one wish, I will be the spoon. I will go back to 1993 when he was eating that spoon, and I want to be the spoon. Period. So Ronnie comes to visit him, and they have this little flirty moment. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, you're doing too much. You just graduated high school. And in my mind, when I first seen it as a child, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I thought that Ronnie and Kane were the same age. But now that I'm older, I'm like, he just graduated high school. You have a whole child and was dating his OG. How old are you? So I'm thinking like Ronnie is maybe 23, 24. Still a little bit too old to be talking to a high schooler. Just my thoughts. So I'm side-eyeing Ronnie. But okay, girl, I get it. He fine, but still, he's 18. Gross. This is a scene where Grandpa is trying to talk some sense into Kane and Kevin, Old Dog. We find out that Old Dog's real name is Kevin. And it starts the scene off with them watching this TV show of this guy, oh, hey kids, oh, being silly and goofy or whatever on a black and white TV. And to me, I think that symbolizes how out of touch his grandparents are with the reality that he's living in. Then Grandpa comes in and he's telling the speech, he's giving Bible verses, which he's not wrong. Grandpa ain't wrong. It's the tone. He's kind of tone deaf. Like, these dudes don't give a fuck about what the Bible say. And Old Dog even says something about, like, I don't think God like us, because if he did, why would he have us in these living conditions? And I would have to agree, because what I've seen thus far, this looks like hell on earth. I would never want to live in this type of hood. Whatever hood I lived in was heaven compared to this one. I mean, I hated it, and I was happy when we got the hell up out of there. But baby, it was not this. I remember the neighborhood I did live in, we used to hear gunshots all the time, but the tap water was really, really good. And they would say the water is sweet there because it has gunpowder in it. Because it was some sweet water. It was like, it tastes like water, but it had like a sweet, it had a sweet tanginess to it. And I was like, it's that gunpowder. But anyways, back to the movie. Yes, he's so out of touch. He's like, Romans 12:12 says this. And he says, Kane even says at one point that when he starts talking this religious mumbo jumbo, it goes out of one ear and out of another. And I feel like it's important to keep this in mind, because later on when he comes across another elder, he has a completely different tone. Even Old Dog has a completely different tone than they do with the dad. So he asked him the infamous question once he's done, and they like, man, we don't want to hear you. And they go outside, and Grandpa's like, Cain, I have a question for you. Do you care if you live or die? And Cain says, I don't know. That's the infamous question of this movie, okay? Do you care if you live or die? So then after that, they make Cain and Old Dog are having this banter about the murder of Harold. And I'm like, do y'all are really traumatized, because they're like, haha, you was bleeding all over my car. You owe me, you gotta clean it up. And Cain was like, I heard y'all, okay, please don't die. And they're making light of this very traumatic moment. And I'm like, Cain, why are you laughing? Your whole cousin died. What's funny? I'm just like, these two are psychopaths. I don't want to ever in my life come across nobody like this. My God, today, that is scary. Y'all making fun of near-death experiences? But I guess it's like, that's what a lot of Black people do. Laugh to keep from crying, I guess. So then we go to the scene where Old Dog thinks this is fucking World Star, and he's playing the surveillance, the convenient surveillance tape to all the homies. And it's like, dude, are you serious? What's your problem? This is the scene where they find that they get the opportunity to get revenge for cousin Harold, and they're all having a discussion. Old Dog's for it. Old Dog's like, yeah, we gonna pop them niggas. I can't wait. And Cain is kind of like, listen, he's kind of contemplating. He's like, I don't want to kill no kids, and I don't want to kill no old people. And Old Dog's like, it is midnight. You think it's some old people out here for real? Be serious. And so they're going back and forth, and Old Dog gets mad at Cain's hesitation. He's like, you seen these people pop your cousin in front of your face, and you scared to get revenge on them? You acting like a little bitch right now, and I don't like that. And so he's like, so then the driver is like, both of y'all acting like some bitches. Y'all better get out this motherfucking car, smoke these people. The hell wrong with y'all? Mind you, he's an older influence. So, of course, if he says it, it's going to pressure them to do it even more. But it's just so messed up. It's so messed up. So they go to the shop, and they go to the hot dog stand, whatever. It's some kind of burger joint place. And the guys that killed Harold are like asking the clerk, hook us up with some free food. I've been there before. I've definitely been there. Where I work somewhere and the homies want you to hook them up with something. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I'm not losing my job over you. You ain't getting shit for free over here. I'll make you a burger, but you better pay for it. The hell? Anyways, so then Old Dog and Cain run up on him. Pow, 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 pow. Shoots him, right? One of them gets away, and then the older guy comes out the car. This part traumatized me as a kid, because I was just thinking, like, you know, he's hurt. He's been shot a couple of times. This dude says, hey, yo, homie, you need some help? Pow, 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 pow. Are you serious? If somebody say, hey, homie, you need some help, I'm thinking you're really going to help me. He's the enemy. Shoots him. Pow, pow, pow. Shoots him some more. Got revenge on cousin Harold's enemies. Okay? You think that would make Cain feel better, but it doesn't. Okay, so Cain is laying up in his bed, and he has a guilty conscience about what he did to those men. And he's like, I thought it would make me feel better, but it didn't. And he's just up tossing and turning all night. And this is when me watching the movie as an adult, it kicks in. Y'all remember that part in one of Kendrick Lamar's songs? I can't remember which song it is right now, but he's like, the one in front of the gun lives forever. Is it I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again? Lord forgive me things I don't understand. Sometimes I need to be alone. I think it's Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. But he's like, the one in front of the gun lives forever. So as Kane is tossing and turning in his bed, that thought comes to me, and I'm like, oh, that's what that means. The one in front of the gun lives forever, because they're in the consciousness of the killer. And that reminds me of, did y'all ever watch that show, Black Lightning? Y'all remember Lala? How he kept coming back to life. He wanted to die, but he kept coming back to life. And every time he would come back to life, one of his victims would get seared into his chest as a tattoo, and they would plague his mind, and he was really crazy. I think he was really schizophrenic. But the victims that he killed would always be in his mind, telling him what to do and what not to do, and just confusing the fuck out of him. So that's what I think. I've never killed anybody. Pray to God that I never will. But I think those souls that really haunt your consciousness. And that's why Kane could not sleep at night. Crazy, right? So the next scene, Kane goes to visit Ronnie and Anthony, and he's sneaking them money and stuff. He goes in the bathroom, sneaks money, and Anthony's at the table. They're talking, about Pernell. Ronnie and Kane are talking about Pernell, and Anthony's there. And Anthony says, I'm gonna whoop your ass at video games. And Ronnie's like, watch your mouth, don't be cussing, what's wrong with you? And Kane goes, what did he say? He didn't say nothing bad. And I'm like, Kane, shut your dumb ass up. You just got out of high school. How you gonna tell her how to parent her child? So anyway, they get to the room, they start gaming, and Kane is gaming so damn hard. He got to take the gun out of his pants, because this little boy is obviously whooping his ass at whatever game they playing. He got to play so hard. He got to take his gun out and put it on the nightstand. So the little boy is like, "What's that?" And he's like, "What?" And Kane's like, "What's what?" And he's like, "The gun. Can I see the gun?" So Kane gives a 5-year-old child the gun and is teaching him how to shoot it. Ronnie walks in and beats the brakes off of Anthony and say, if I ever see you playing with a gun again, I'm going to beat your tail. And she gets into Kane's ass and like, don't be teaching my son how to do drive-bys. No, but seriously, I'm on Ronnie's side. And honestly, if that happened to me and my son and my homeboy did that, he would never be welcome to my house again. I will not be friends with him. I will block his motherfucking number. Because what are you doing? You didn't get my consent to teach my son how to handle no gun. Especially in this type of environment. Hell no. He wouldn't been able to say nothing to my child ever again. Do you understand me? That was a serious violation, but I guess he's so fine, she don't care. Teach my kid how to be a gangster like you with your fine ass, I guess. So Chauncey sets up an insurance scam with this random white guy where he needs the guys to steal a Nissan Maxima or Ultima or something. But let me tell you something about that. My first car was a 1991 Nissan Stanza, and you couldn't tell me shit, baby. I had the rims on it. I had a paint job on it, and I thought I was the shit rolling up in that 91. Mind you, it was 2008 when I had it. I was in high school. You couldn't tell me that car wasn't clean. And even watching this movie, when they go get the car, I was thinking like, damn, that car is nice. It looked clean. Even the 1991 or 3, whatever year it was, it still looked good. I'm a fan. I'll forever be a Nissan Ultima girl. Forever in my heart. R.I.P. Nissan Ultimas and Stanzas. They ain't made Stanzas since. Yes, he sets up the scheme, and then old dog, Kane, and their old homie, they go and they try to steal the car that he's asking for. And girl, the parking garage attendant was not having it. He called the police immediately. He knew they was up to no good. So they end up getting caught by the police. Old dog they let him go. He doesn't get any charges because he's still a minor, which is crazy to me. Cause how reckless and crazy old dog is, I thought he I thought he had lived a little bit more life, but obviously I was wrong. Kane goes to jail, kind of like with the, what you call it? Instead of getting burglary, they reduced it to joyriding. I don't know charges like that, girl. I don't know charges like that. So anyway, this leads him to be questioned about the night that he was at the convenience store with O-Dog. This is the scene where they bring him in for questioning because they like, okay, you got this joyride attempt, but we know we can get something else on you. So the officer is interrogating Kane, and words are not Kane's friends. He is stumbling over all his words. Them words is beating his ass. When I tell you he's trying to lie, he can't even lie straight. He's just so nervous. And this is where the famous line goes, you know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. I say this, sometimes when I'm stimming, I say a lot of things from movies, a lot, and this is one of the things. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. This is the scene where that comes from. So, anyways, they have to let him go because without the surveillance tape, they really don't have enough information to let anything stick. So Kane lives to see another day. But this is the thing. This is why I don't commit crimes and I don't lie, because I can't remember shit. I got to tell you the truth because I can't remember what I said before. I have a horrible memory. And I have a terrible conscience. I will probably rat on everybody for just a Dr. Pepper and some hot chips. Not a Dr. Pepper, a cherry Pepsi, because that's my favorite. If I'm getting interrogated, if that was me, and they interrogating me about O-Dog, oh, he's going to jail. I'm telling it. Singing like a canary. I ain't doing time for nobody. I ain't taking no charges for nobody. I'll be like, you know what? Give me a cherry Coke, a cherry Pepsi. Give me a cherry Pepsi and some hot fries. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Down to the socks he was wearing. Everything. You don't want to go to jail, don't do no crimes around me because I'm telling it all. Everything. Down to the second. And I will sign my name. Snitching it up all the way. I don't give a damn. I am not a thug. I am a citizen. Okay? I will tell on you. Period. So the next scene, Kane gets a car from a shady mechanic. He's like, listen, all the numbers are clean, the plates is clean, give me the money, this is your car. So it's some kind of Ford, I think maybe a Ford Mustang. And Kane's like, yeah, I got my ride, but I look like a lame. I need some, rims on my shit. So he sees this really cute fly guy. He's got the gold earrings. He's got the jewelry. He is flossing, and he got the Dayton's on his car. I'm telling you, he look clean. And he has a red convertible too. The same that Kane has, but of course his is better because he's got the rims and the stereo and everything. So Kane decides that he is going to jack the dude. The dude just wanted to go to lunch. He's at some kind of burger spot, and the victim's like, man, what you want from me? And Kane says, I want your Dayton's, I want your stereo, and I'll take a double pounder with cheese. And he was like, nigga, what? He said, you heard me? Order up. So he orders, he's getting his order, and he's like, and the lady's like, is that it? And he's like, yeah. And he was like, don't make me shoot you over this burger. He's like, oh, and a double burger with cheese. It's not funny. It's not funny because he's getting jacked, but it's funny that he's getting jacked and he got to pay for his lunch. My thing is this too. How do you jack somebody for rims in a stereo? Because this is something that takes time to uninstall. I'm thinking maybe an hour or so. So you just holding the gun to his head as he gets the crossbar, twisted it, take the nugs off. Mind you, 4 tires. Put them on your car. The stereo. You have to, there's electrical wires to that. You have to take the wires out. Do you make him hook it up to your car? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like a tedious process to rob somebody for that type of stuff. That could just be me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm not a robber. But it's just like, how does that work? How wouldn't he have a chance to run away and call the police or something? Like, this is more than a one-person job. Like, Kane, did you help him? Because when you twisting the nugs too, you gotta put your gun down. Like, he had I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too far into it. How did you steal Dayton's though? Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas of how that could happen. It wouldn't be a 90s hood movie if you didn't have the "This is how we make crack" montage. With the dope man song in the back. Like, come on, guys. Really? I promise you, this making crack scene was in almost every 90s hood movie. Am I lying? Like, enough already. Why are you teaching our community how to make crack? Stop it. God damn, dude. This is the beginning of the barbecue scene. So, as you can see, Kane is feeling good. He feeling like he the man. He got the Dayton's, he got the radio system, he got the car. So he's ready to mac on the bitches. So this is exactly what he does. He gets to the park and where they're having the barbecue, and he sees this fine honey. He blocks her in and he's like, "Can I get your number?" You know, he's like really rizzing her up, and she's really like, I don't care about that. But he ends up getting her number. They go into the park. Everybody's having a good time eating. And we get introduced to Sharif's father. Now, Sharif's father, you can tell, is a respected man amongst the young men, because even Old Dog calls him Mr. Butler. The dude that is showing off his murder tape, the same guy that don't give a fuck about nothing, is calling him Mr. Butler. You can tell he's real respected because he's trying to put his blunt out. And Mr. Butler is like, come on now, I used to smoke back in the day. So you can tell that they have like this reverence for him as an elder, whereas they didn't have the same type of reverence for Kane's grandfather. And I think it's because Mr. Butler is more in tune with the reality that they live in. He's a teacher, he's a scholar, so he understands young people a little bit more than Kane's grandparents. So they respect him for that. And I just want to say, look how fucking fine Kane is. Oh my God. I think I would have fell for the bullshit too. I honestly think I would have fell for the bullshit too. He's just too fine. Look at those lips. Oh my God. After we are introduced to Sharif's dad, Mr. Butler, they meet up with Kane at the school to try to convince him to move to Kansas. I feel like this is Kane's first out in this movie. Like, out to get out the hood, to change his life, to transition to be a better human. They give him an opportunity. They say, "Hey, we're going to go to Kansas. We would like for you to come with us because we don't see no future for you here." I guess they're in Watts. Yeah, they're in Watts. LA, wherever the fuck that is. I guess Watts is in LA. Girl, I don't know. Anyway, so they're trying to convince him to go to Kansas. Yeah, I'm so geographically challenged. It doesn't make sense. So they're trying to convince him to go. And because Mr. Butler is so respected, Kane is actually kind of considering what he's saying. You know, they kind of planted a seed in there to where information would go one ear out of the other with his grandfather. He's actually taking into account what Mr. Butler says, which I think is a good thing. So after this scene, Sharif and Kane go for a ride, but they get pulled over by the police for being fly and black, I guess. But they get brutalized. They get absolutely plummeted by the police. Like, it's horrible. But my thing is this, I kind of have a mixed feelings about it because, yes, they did get pulled over driving while black. However, the car is shady. You got it from a shady mechanic that was able to clean the VIN numbers and the plates for whatever reason. You stole the Dayton's and the stereo in it. So even though they didn't, and it's never okay for the police to beat up people like that. But did they have a right to pull you over? Was that their intuition? Because you weren't that great of a guy, but they really didn't have no reason to pull you over. And also, it's never okay to brutalize people like that. They beat them so bad. and then dropped them off to the essays, to the Mexican gangs, because I guess they thought that the Mexican gangs was going to beat them up even worse, which I'm like, that is horrible. That is, like I'm saying, this hood is hell on earth. Like, I can't believe if people really live life like this. I am so sorry. And I can see why the fuck people want to get out the hood. And I can see why people get mad at other people for glamorizing it. Because if you really from the hood, you don't want to be there. I wouldn't. But anyway, so yeah, they try to convince him. They get beat up. The essays are really cool with them. So they end up just taking them to the hospital, which I think is great. I just find it crazy that gangsters have more humanity than the police that are supposed to serve and protect. Something to think about. Murderers, criminals have more humanity than the fucking police in this instance, in this Menace to Society universe. Crazy. After they get beat up, the scene is Ronnie and Anthony. Ronnie is like reading Anthony a bedtime story, and Anthony starts asking about Kane. Like, what did Kane do so bad to the police? Like, what did he do so bad that the police did that to him? Is Kane gonna die? Is Kane like my dad? And Pernell, which is Kane's OG, is Anthony's dad. I hope I explained that to make sense. So Ronnie's like, oh no, Kane's not gonna die. It's different from your dad, you know, whatever. So she goes to visit him in the hospital, and she's trying to cheer him up. He's just like, they didn't beat the soul out of this man. He don't have nothing to live for. And so Ronnie's like, you know, I got a job offer in Atlanta. She got a secretary job in Atlanta. And he's like, good, you should take it. At least you can get out of here. And she's like, I want you to come with me. And he was like, come to Atlanta? So this is his second out. First one was Mr. Butler and Sharif telling him to go to Kansas. The second one was Ronnie asking him to go to Atlanta with her. He don't know. That sounds far-fetched from him, but, you know, he's not opposed to it completely. He's like, okay, maybe. And to me, I would love somebody to give me an opportunity, especially right now. I'll be like, girl, do I want to live in Atlanta? I love visiting Atlanta. Atlanta is one of my favorite favorite towns that I've ever visited in my whole entire life. When I went to Atlanta, I had a motherfucking blast. Do you understand me? A time was had. However, I'm not sure that's a place where I would want to reside. I think I just want to visit. I don't know. If one of my friends was like, bro, pack up your shit, you can stay with me, I'm packing it up and I'm going, okay? This is Ronnie's going away party. She invited all the homies over, and she wants to have a moment alone with Kane to ask if he has thought about her offer to go to if he wants to go to Atlanta with her. Before I get into that, I want to say that the party that Ronnie is throwing is giving the exact same vibes that Kane's parents' party was in the beginning. And to me, watching this movie as an adult, to me, it really shows, I don't know if the director's meant to do this, but it shows how things that happen in your childhood can cycle into your adulthood if you don't work on your trauma, if you don't work on the things that make you different, that set you apart, that should set you apart from the previous generation. You don't want to be making the same motherfucking mistakes that your parents made. And to me, even before we get any deeper into it, even Anthony coming outside talking to old dog, talking about what y'all drinking, beer? What y'all doing out here? It's the exact same thing Kane did when he was a baby. And they were actually, old dog was going to offer him some beer, but Ronnie ended up coming outside and told him to go in the house. Like, I'm going to get you some juice. Go in the house. Don't let me catch you back out here sneaking around with these adults. And so anyways, I just wanted to mention that I could see the cycle happening. Even though I feel like, even though Kane's a murderer, a thief, and a criminal, he's probably a better person than his dad, because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want to kill anybody in front of Anthony. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't want to kill anybody from the kids. He already is different from his dad. He's still bad, but he's not as bad as his mom. Ronnie is a better choice because she's not on drugs. Like, I mean, yeah, she fucks with minors. Let me not say that. Ronnie is 18. He is of age. But I just don't understand why a grown-ass woman with a son would want to fuck with a teenager. But anyways, so she's kind of fucked up in the head a little bit. But she's got her shit together. She's got a nice job. She's got her own house. Well, Pernell and Kane's helping her with bills and everything. But she's, for the most part, able to keep her shit together. So she's a lot better off than her dad, than Kane's mom. But what I'm saying is, I see a cycle here. There's a cycle. And so anyways, this is the part where she's like trying to convince him to go to Atlanta with her. And he's like, man, I don't know. She's like, why you been avoiding me? He's like, man, I don't know. Or whatever. He's going into the spiel of why he's been avoiding her. And she's like, have you thought about what I said? And he's like, yeah. She's like, so are you going to go to Atlanta with me? And he says, yes. Girl, this gets her little kitty tingling. Because, baby, give me that honey love starts to play, and they make sweet love with each other. Ooh, juicy. Mind you, how you gonna smash your big homie's baby mama? That's against bro code. I know it's gotta be against some kind of bro code. It has to be. The next scene, we got Kane sitting at the Domino's table looking all guilty. Boy, I tell you, that boy is full of guilt. Guilt and despair, okay? So he's at the table feeling guilty because he just took down Ronnie, his OG's baby mama. And so I don't know if anybody else at the party notices or whatever, but they're just chilling. And Chauncey, who has a crush on Ronnie and secretly hates Kane, is like all drunk trying to, you know, love on her and stuff. And she's like, I've had enough. Okay, get off of me, Chauncey. So it starts to get aggressive where Chauncey's just like roughing her up and stuff. And Kane sees it and he's getting irritated. So he goes to Old Dog and he's like, you got that strap on you? Old Dog says, you know it. He's like, let me see it. And they like, what you gonna do with that gun, Kane? Kane goes straight up to Chauncey and starts pistol whipping him with the gun. And this is one of my favorite scenes because as he's whooping his ass, you hear, I wanna be living for the love of you. It's my favorite scene of all time in any movie. I love it. And so you got Kane's friends pulling him off of him, and he's like, I'm gonna get him, and Anthony sees everything. So it goes back to the beginning of the movie where he didn't kill him, but he is showing an act of violence in front of a child where he's going to record that. He's 5 years old. These are his developmental years. He is going to hold that in his mind for the rest of his motherfucking life. Just as Kane zoned out and was in a different reality once his dad shot that man at the spades table, it's the same way Anthony will probably be, but not as bad and not as traumatic. But still, that's traumatizing to see somebody that you look up to beat the brakes off of somebody like that. Trust me, I know. I've seen somebody that I held at regard fight another person that I held at regard, and I was a grown-ass woman, and that's still traumatizing. I was so scared. So I can't imagine being 5 years old. I was a grown-ass woman and I see that shit. And I was like, girl, I'll never forget that. So I can't imagine being a kid seeing that. But I love the scene. It's my favorite scene of this movie. Cousin Harold and this scene. Mind you, they both are blue. The scenes are both filmed in blue. I wonder if that has a correlation to anything. I don't know. At night, Kane gets a call from Elena. And that's the girl at the barbecue that he was macking on, that he was putting out, laying it thick on her, right? She calls him and says that she's pregnant. And he's like, what you telling me for? I packed a Jimmy tight. I wrapped it tight. And she's like, what? So you man enough to take a life, but you not man enough to take care of one? She kind of ate that. She ate that when she said that, girl. You ate it. And this scene really triggered the fuck out of me. It didn't trigger me when I was a kid. I didn't really think too much about it, but it triggered the fuck out of me as an adult because this shit happened to me. Almost verbatim. It happened to me in my early 20s. And the guy was like, I told him, I'm late, and I took 6 pregnancy tests, y'all, 6 of them, because I just could not. I said, ain't no way, ain't no way. I took 6 pregnancy tests, 5 urinal ones, 1 pee on, and then a blood test, and they all came back. It was a baby up in there, girl. And so I remember just having such a sense of doom. Some people be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to. It was doom. My life was gonna be over, bitch. Like, this is not a game. This shit is real. I was doomed. And so I called the guy that I was the baby daddy at the time, and I told him, and he said, who's the dad? Bitch, I blacked out. I cussed him smooth the fuck out. And I had all my receipts, all my dates. Like, who the fuck is you playing with? You not playing with me. And girl, once he said that, table. Went straight to the motherfucking table, baby. Ain't nobody coming through this portal. Because you think I'm about to be raising a kid by myself? You got another motherfucking thing coming. Run me that money, baby. Run me that money. That's back before Roe versus Wade was revoked. Now, it's the club is locked the fuck down. Hell no. Y'all not about to trap me the fuck. Hell no. But yeah, that same thing happened to me. But the moral of the story is, if he don't want a baby, bitch, don't keep it. What did Glow say? Yeah. Don't play with her. You ain't said nothing but a motherfucking word. To the curb. Never heard from me again. That's all I needed to hear. The fuck you talking about? What you telling me for? Cain was not a good human. That's why I don't really feel bad about what happened to him at the end. Good riddance. Chauncey is really mad that Cain beat him up, and his friend, whoever this is, he's the funny guy. He's the one that was calling him prime time at the graduation party. He's watching the fight, and he's like, damn, this man is really whooping his ass. He whooping his ass like Cain whooped your ass last night. Like, really rubbing it in. He gets mad, and he says, we'll see who's laughing when I send this convenience store surveillance tape to the police. In hindsight, looking now, Cain was destined to fail. Because if he wouldn't have got shot up at the end, he was going to spend his life in prison over this shit that he sent to the police. He was doomed from the start. After this, Ronnie and Cain go visit Pernell in prison. And I guess this is supposed to be to tell him we're officially together visit. I don't know. Ronnie's on the phone with Pernell. You know how they talk, talking through the glass. And she's telling him how she's moving to Atlanta. He don't care to talk to her. He said, let me talk to Cain. Cain is just riddled with guilt and doom that he can't even look Pernell in the face. Pernell already knows that they got something going on. So he basically gives him permission to be with Ronnie. Is like, take care of my son, make sure Ronnie is straight. And as an adult looking at this scene, it really broke my heart for Pernell, because it's like, damn, you really fucked up so bad that everybody got to live life without you. Like, they got to suck to be behind a cage over some horrible decisions that you made, and watching your life go by and everybody that you love live their life without you and move on without you. That shit hurt my heart. But this is why we don't make bad decisions to end us up in prison. Because we want to live life with the people we love. We want to evolve with them. We don't want to be stuck while they just moving on to different dimensions. You know what I'm saying? In their life. Cain and O-Dog is confronted by Alina's cousin. And this guy is like, I don't know where he's at. He needs to be in more movies. He was in every single hood classic movie in the 90s. I don't even know his name. But he always played the thugs. He played a thug in what is that movie? Tales from the Hood, which I think I'm going to review that next, because that movie scared the living hell out of me when I was a child. I would like to watch that again as an adult, but that may be the next one I do. But he was the hood actor classic. He was always the gangster. So Elena's cousin confronts Kane. It was like, Elena don't like the way you dogging her, and I don't either. Which one of y'all? Wait, first he goes, which one of y'all is Kane? And they like, who asking? He's like, I'm Elena's cousin, and she don't like the way you dogging her, and I don't like it either. And he was like, well, you know what? And the boom, boom, boom. Old Dog and Kane beat the mother breaks off of this poor dude. I don't know why he would roll up on some killers like that by himself anyway. That was dumb. Like, do he know him? Do he know them? Maybe they don't have a reputation. But in Menace Society world, these are not the people that you run up on. You do not run up on Kane and Old Dog. They will kill you. Beat him so bad. Like, he's like blood is falling out of his mouth and shit. Like, beat the brakes off of him in front of Kane's grandparents' house. So they come outside to see all the commotion. They're like, Kane, get your ass in here. They comes in the house and they say, Kane, we can't handle you no more. You're too violent. You got to get out of here. And Kane's like, even you, Grandma, you agree to this? And Grandma's like just sad and crying. Like, she can't even look at him. And to me, when I was watching the movie as an adult, I'm like, maybe Grandma had a sense that them kicking him out the house was his death sentence. Even though I feel like he didn't already made his bed. He had to lie in it. But I felt like maybe that's why Grandma was so sad about it, because she was boo-hooing, baby. She was devastated over that. Ronnie and Anthony are leaving for Atlanta. They're packing up. All the homies is there helping, right? I kind of had a dream about this scene. Now that I'm looking at this, I had a dream about this scene before. Weird. Deja vu or something. Anyways, they're packing up, and Old Dog is such a sleaze. Like, when I tell you he is a slum, like the worst, the scum, worst of the worst, he's literally trying to talk Kane out of leaving for Atlanta. He's like, you a sellout. Like, you really leaving with this broad? You a sellout. Because he really wants him to stay, because that's the only person he really cares about, for real. So then they show Elena's cousin, who's just hell-bent on getting revenge on Kane, and Old Dog ain't fighting for her honor. She's like, Elena's like, please don't do this. Just let it go. It's not that serious. You know, I'll take care of the baby by myself. It's fine. And he's like, nah, fuck that. I ain't gonna let that shit slide. So him and his homies get in this raggedy, beat-up Pontiac. It's rusty, dusty, busty, everything not good about that car, bro. So him and his homies get in there. They loading up the guns. They know where Kane is. So they pull up to Ronnie's house, and they see him. They do a drive-by, and Sharif gets hit. Old Dog sees him and starts blasting back. And Kane's only concern through all this commotion is making sure that Anthony is safe. Because, mind you, these punks are doing a drive-by. Mind you, Anthony is on a tricycle, riding his bike on the goddamn sidewalk. And they don't give a fuck. They just shooting. And I think that is so irresponsible. I hate that. Like, how can you let your rage be so controlling of you that you are willing to put an innocent child in harm's way? That's just dumb as fuck. I don't care. I mean, I understand, get your revenge, but do it at night. You know where they hang out at night. Do it at that time. But they did it in broad daylight in front of Anthony. So Kane is running to Anthony. As he's running to Anthony, he's getting shot. Ooh, 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 ooh. So eventually he slumped over, his body bleeding all over Anthony. Ronnie comes running outside. It's like, I gotta check on Anthony, and she sees Sharif lie dead on the yard, and Kane's barely holding on to their life. So their football friend is telling Old Dog, go get some help. Go call the police. And Old Dog is just standing there looking like an idiot. And I'm like, you mean to tell me you're traumatized? You're traumatized that your friend got shot when you be shooting all these people this whole entire time? It was all fun and games until it was somebody you loved. You want to sit here and watch videos of you killing 2 innocent people, but you traumatized over your friend? Oh, how convenient. So anyway, he's traumatized. And then we hear Kane speaking, and he says, you know, my grandfather asked me if I cared if I lived or died. He said, I do, but now it's too late. And then the movie ends. And mind you, I've been watching this movie. This movie came out in 93. I've probably been watching it since 93. Why was I today years old when I found out that this movie was narrated by Kane's ghost? It did not hit me until he said at the end, I do care, and now it's too late. A ghost? Girl. Anyways, what do I think about this movie now as an adult? I think it was very, very violent. I pray my heart goes out to people who live in violence like that. That has to be very traumatizing and scary. It's unfortunate that people live like that and are brought up that way and are turn out to be horrible humans. I really hate that. Like, it takes a very strong-willed person to break that cycle, to get out the hood and start a family in a different environment. So shout out to everybody who has done that or who is doing that or is working through that right now. Do I still love this movie? It's near and dear to my heart. I still like it. I'll still visit it every once in a while when I want to go into the trauma of the universe of Menace to Society. I hope y'all enjoyed this movie review. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. What was your favorite scene? What did you think about everything? Yeah, that's it. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Oh, don't forget to like or subscribe or, all that. You know what the YouTube shit is by now. We've been watching YouTube too long for me to say this shit. Do the YouTube stuff. Do the YouTube stuff. Please and thank you. Bye.